What if one of the most important decisions in your life comes down to something that feels completely out of your control? What if the moment you're chosen isn't based on talent, recognition, or even effort, but something deeper that no one else can see? What if the quietest name in the room is the one God has already decided on? After the ascension of Jesus, the disciples return to Jerusalem, carrying both clarity and uncertainty. They know the mission ahead of them is real. They know the promise of the Holy Spirit is coming. But there is something unfinished, something that must be addressed before they move forward. There were 12, now there are 11. Judas is gone, and the absence is not just emotional, it is structural. The number 12 was never random, it carried meaning, symbolizing completeness, alignment, and purpose. And now, something is missing. But here's where the perspective shifts. This moment is not rushed. There is no panic, no impulsive decision. Instead, there is a pause, a deliberate, thoughtful response to something broken. Peter stands up among the group, not to lead with authority alone, but to bring clarity. He recalls the scriptures, pointing to something that had already been spoken long before. What happened with Judas was not outside of God's awareness. It was part of a larger unfolding story. And this matters, because it shows that even moments of betrayal, confusion, and loss do not disrupt the greater purpose. They are not ignored, but they are not the end. Peter doesn't deny what happened. He doesn't hide from it. He brings it into the open, connects it to something deeper, and then moves the group toward action. But not just any action, intentional action. They set criteria. The person who will take Judas's place must be someone who has been with them from the beginning, someone who witnessed the journey, the teachings, the moments that defined everything. Not someone new, not someone impressive from the outside, someone consistent, someone present. This is where the world's way of choosing and God's way begin to separate. The world often looks for visibility, influence, standout ability, but here the focus is on faithfulness over time. Quiet endurance, steady presence. And from this group, two names emerge: Joseph, called Barsabbas, and Matthias. Both are qualified, both have walked the same path, both have seen the same things. From the outside, there is no clear difference, and this is where the tension builds. Because now, the decision cannot be made by human judgment alone. So they do something that feels unfamiliar to many of us today. They pray, but not just any prayer. They acknowledge something essential. You, Lord, know everyone's heart. This is the center of everything. Not what is seen, not what is said, not what is assumed, but what is known by God alone. And in that moment, they release control. They cast lots. To modern thinking, this might seem random, uncertain, even risky. But in their context, it was an act of surrender. It was a way of saying, we have done what we can. Now we trust what we cannot see. And the lot falls to Matthias. Just like that, a name that had been in the background steps into the story. No long introduction, no dramatic rise, no public recognition before this moment. And yet he becomes one of the 12. This is where the deeper meaning begins to unfold. Because Matthias represents something many people overlook. The unseen preparation, the quiet faithfulness, the kind of life does not demand attention, but is ready when the moment comes. We live in a world that often celebrates visibility, being known, being recognized, being chosen publicly. But this moment challenges that mindset. Matthias was not chosen because he stood out. He was chosen because he stayed, because he remained, because he was present when it mattered, even when no one was watching. And maybe that speaks directly to where you are. Maybe you feel like your efforts go unnoticed, like your consistency doesn't get recognized, like your presence doesn't seem to make a difference. But what if those very things are the foundation of something greater? What if being overlooked now is not a sign of insignificance, but a season of preparation? Because when the moment of choosing comes, it is not about who is most visible, it is about who is ready. And readiness is built in the quiet. In the days no one applauds, in the moments no one records, in the decisions that seem small but are actually shaping something deep within. Matthias did not suddenly become qualified in that moment. He already was. The choosing simply revealed what had been true all along. And this shifts how we see timing. We often think opportunity creates readiness, but more often readiness meets opportunity, and when they align, something powerful happens. Another layer to this story is the idea of restoration. Judas's place was empty because of failure, betrayal, and loss. But the story does not end there. It moves toward restoration, not by ignoring the past, but by moving forward with purpose. The group does not remain incomplete. They do not carry the gap indefinitely. They address it, heal it, and continue. This is important, because in our own lives there are moments of loss. Moments where something breaks, where something or someone is no longer there. And it can feel like that absence defines everything. But this passage reminds us that gaps can be filled, that brokenness can be restored, that the story can continue. Not in the same way, but in a meaningful way. The choosing of Matthias is not just about replacing Judas. It is about reaffirming that the mission continues, that purpose is not cancelled by failure, that what was started will move forward. And that movement requires people who are willing to step into roles they did not create, but are called to fulfill. Matthias did not campaign for this. He did not position himself for it. He simply lived in a way that made him ready. And when the moment came, he stepped into it. This challenges a lot of modern thinking. We are often told to push forward, to make ourselves known, to create opportunities. And while effort matters, this story introduces another dimension: trust, surrender, alignment, the ability to say, I will do my part, and trust God with the outcome. The disciples did everything they could. They reflected, they set criteria, they prayed, and then they released the final decision. This balance is powerful. It is not passive, it is not careless, it is intentional, but not controlling. And maybe that is where many of us struggle. We either try to control everything, or we disengage completely. But this passage shows a different path. Engage fully, then release completely. Do what is yours to do, trust what is not yours to control, and in that space, something greater can happen. Matthias becomes part of the foundation of what is about to unfold, right before the arrival of the Holy Spirit, right before the expansion of the message, right before everything begins to accelerate. He steps into place, just in time. Not early, not late, exactly when needed. And that speaks to timing in a profound way. Your moment is not random, it is not disconnected, it is part of something larger. And even if you don't see it now, your consistency, your presence, your quiet faithfulness, it is all leading somewhere. You are being shaped for something, prepared for something, positioned for something. And when the moment comes, it may feel sudden, it may feel unexpected, but it will not be unearned. Because what happens publicly is often the result of what has been built privately. Matthias is not a story of luck. He is a story of readiness meeting divine selection. And that changes everything. Because it means your focus does not have to be on being seen. It can be on being ready. It means your value is not determined by recognition, but by alignment. It means your path does not have to look like everyone else's, because your moment will come in its own time. The story closes without much detail about Matthias's future. No long record, no extensive spotlight. And maybe that is intentional, because the point is not the fame. It is the faithfulness, not the visibility, but the obedience, not the recognition, but the role fulfilled. And that brings the focus back to you, not in comparison, not in pressure, but in reflection. Where are you being consistent right now? Where are you showing up, even when it feels unnoticed? Where are you building something quietly that may one day be revealed? Because those places matter, more than you think. And this moment in Acts reminds us that God sees what others don't, knows what others can't, and chooses in ways we might not expect. So instead of asking, why am I not being chosen yet? Maybe the better question is, am I becoming ready? Because when readiness meets the right moment, the outcome can change everything. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who might need encouragement today.